Welcome back to Crafty Hints. I'm so excited to have you today and to have you join me for the She Did What? With Dollar Tree items again. Oh my goodness, we had some great items this time. We have a chalkboard, we have stickers, yarn, a shower curtain, foam trays, and a placemat. Oh my goodness, some of these I just had to rack my brain. So as you remember, the playlist will be below and have all the lovely ladies' links there. DIY 1. Here is a new challenge. All right, I took some rice and I put it in a sock. Wouldn't you know it, even these brand new-ish socks, one's missing. So I took it, filled it with rice, and put a rubber band around it. And then you can kind of just squish it down to how you want it, cut the top off. Now the challenge item for this is a placemat. I got this at the Dollar Tree, of course, because that's our challenge items. I cut it in a triangle and I glued the edges. I'm using the mini glue gun here as it's a lower temp glue gun. I glued the top and just folded it over. And I cut two pieces of this faux fur, one about 4 inches and one about 2 inches. Now what I'm doing is pulling back the fur just a little bit and cutting off some of the underside so that the fur will hang over the edge. So I glued on one piece of fur. And then I decided I wanted to take a piece of this mat and put it on the back so it's like part of his outfit. Did I tell you we're making a gnome? Yes, we are. You could definitely take the faux fur all the way around, but I thought it would be cute to make it look like he has a hat and a shirt that went together. Now I'm gluing my mustache on. And I kind of ripple it just a little bit, kind of like it would move around your face. Hold that in place. And now I'm pushing it down just a bit and took a wood bead right in the middle. And I'll just press this down. Now I took a little piece of scrap and decided that I put it across the top, over the top of that bead, so it looks like it's his hair from the top coming down over his nose. And I took an extra piece of that mat, folded it over, and now that'll be the brim of his hat. That also covers up anything that might bow in a little bit or wiggle, because I'm not using fabric, which would, stick to it just a little bit better. So I folded that hat down a little bit, and now I'm going to make a tassel. So that yarn is from the Dollar Tree. I just used a little piece of cardboard off of, I think that was the top of a sticker package or something. Wrap that around. And now I just take another piece of yarn. After I did tie that across the top before I pulled it off. Sorry. And now I'm just going to make the top of the tassel. So I'm tying that around the top. I tie that down tight once. Trying to kind of put it right where I want it before I pull it tight. And now I'll just wrap that around so that it gives the top of the tassel a more finished look. And then I'll just double knot it here. After I double knot it, what I'm going to do is just those ends. I'm going to just toss them back down with the rest of the tassel so that they just blend in. So it's pretty easy. Once I do that, I will just take the two top ends that I had first tied it before I pulled it off and hold those at the top. Those are our ends that we can tie to our hat. Now clip off the bottom and make it even for our tassel. Clip any loops that are still there. And now you can tie it to the end of the hat, which is, I think I tied it around once and then I glued it the rest of the way. And he is just too cute. Perk up his mustache a little bit. Then decided to snip it in the center just a little bit for his mouth in there. Gave that mustache just a little bit of a mustachy look. Here he is. So sweet with the rest of my fall decor there. Two challenge items down with the yarn and the mat. Let's get to DIY2. To start this project, I took these little wooden pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. They're little wooden pumpkins that have a clothespin on the back. So I'm using my Waverly chalk paint in pumpkin and just giving that a once over. I did paint them in plaster first because these come with some dark black lines, so I did that. Now I'm taking a little bit of Apple Barrel's burnt umber and I'm accenting that. I absolutely love plaid paints and that's what I'm using there. So the challenge item was these foam trays. What do you do with foam trays? This one took me a bit to figure it out. So I'm cutting the edges off these foam trays. These are almost like the little meat trays that you get for hamburger or something. But of course they're from the Dollar Tree. So I took some of this home decor wood stain and I stained the blocks. This time I'm using a towel that's just slightly damp. Now I'm taking a little bit of wood glue and starting to glue those together. You do see a little wooden leaf there. I was really debating, these wood trays kind of threw me for a bit. So I started off with the pumpkins. I was thinking about the leaves. I wasn't sure what direction I would go. But I'm using these tumbling tower blocks and I'm putting it together and gluing them to make a wood frame. If you enjoy this video, I do hope that you will hit that bell and subscribe so that you know anytime I add a new video. So I'm taking my little foam tray and just rubbing it along the back edges of that so I can trim it out so it will fit on the back. But I want to add a little bit of glue to make this just a little bit more secure. Now I'm taking some of the scrapbook paper that I found at Hobby Lobby, and that will be the background for me on my little sign I'm making. I'm using my Elmer's Extra Strength Craft Glue Stick and just rubbing that right on there. I didn't think Mod Podge would really like that foam tray much, and this seemed to hold quite well. And my leaf didn't quite fit. So here I am with my pumpkins. I wasn't sure how many would look good, and I did decide to go with just one. But you gotta play around with it, decide what you like, and figure out what will work best for your decor. I thought this would look cute in a tier tray. You could also turn it the other way if you shifted that scrapbook paper. So I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue here and attach the wood frame. I wanted to make sure I liked how everything was going to sit before I did that. pretty simple. And again, you could use any type of scrapbook paper. This is so versatile. And these foam trays would work to, help you out with your tier trays. And here it is. I think it turned out pretty cute. I wanted to take a moment to let you know who all is in this challenge. I have Jackie from Crafting in Mimi's World, Melissa from Melissa Makes It DIY, Connie from Connie's Creative Creations, Favi from Arrows DIY, and Lynn from Hot Mess and Hot Glue. So we all picked one item as a challenge item from the Dollar Tree, and that's what we're all using. After you're done watching my video, please go down to the description box and click that playlist so that you can visit them. It will just take you from DIY to DIY. It'll link you right there. You won't have to do a thing. DIY3. Okay, the next challenge item was stickers or rub-on transfers. So I took this frame from the Dollar Tree and just pulled that glass out. This was a frame that had double glass and was see-through. So I just used a little bit of window cleaner and took this off. And I'm going to just add some of those pretty fall stickers that I found. I will be doing a drawing for a pack of stickers just like this, and I have one other pack of stickers that I will also give. So tell me about your favorite pumpkin fall adventure. Was it carving a pumpkin? Was it going to a pumpkin patch? Was it going to the grocery store and getting a pumpkin and carving it with your family? Tell me all about it. I'd love to hear it. So I'm using my mat here to just help me line it up. That line on the mat gives me a straight line to follow. And so I use 3 pumpkins, and then up at the top, I believe it says Happy Harvest. And then I just use 2 little leaf stickers on each side. So this is about it for this challenge item, but it gives it a high-end effect with a little pack of stickers. So what is that? $1.25 maybe? I just slid this back in and pressed down those little metal tags. I want to be careful because that is, 2 pieces of glass on top of each other and metal. And here it is. Just a little bit more information about the giveaway. This week, I'll give away a couple packs of those stickers. Last year or this year's farmers market calendar, and I will draw from the comments below in 1 week. Will then post in my community tab who won and ask you to send your name and address to my email, and I'll get that sent off to you. All right, let's have a little bit of fun with that and hopefully give you a couple items you haven't been able to find. DIY4. Okay, as you saw in the last challenge, I had painted some orange pumpkins. I decided to go with a little bit of a blue pumpkin. So I have my Waverly chalk paint here in pool and a little bit of peacock and some white. And you just kind of go back and forth until you get the pumpkin painted just the way you want it. I think continuing to mix those just give it a neat little accent and gives you a little bit of ridges to your pumpkin. So Just continue to add paint until it makes you happy. That's what crafting's about, right? Doing things that make you happy there. And so I did. I just continued to play with this until I was happy. So there's my foam tray. I trimmed that down like I did before. Here is my other challenge item. Oh my goodness. What do you do with a shower curtain? This was one of the last ones that I did because I couldn't figure it out. So I decided I'm going to adhere it as a background on this tray. So I just put it on here and I'm just kind of wrapping this up like a present. A little bit of hot glue. I would probably suggest using a low temp heat gun because this did start to melt that just a little bit. And just continue to wrap that all around. So then I decided, oh, I'll use some of this mat. That'll work. So that'll be my background. I thought that this way the gray just shows through just a little bit through this mat. So it would give it just even more of a bit of a fall feel. So I will adhere that to the front of the mat. And I did fold over my paper there. Some of that paint was still a little bit damp, so I'm sorry for the mess behind here, but I didn't want that to get on here. So just gluing that down, and then I did the blocks just the same as I did on the first frame, but I painted them in the Waverly chalk paint in white. And just trim off any edge that might be sticking out just a little bit. And adhere that down. Now I'm using one of my blue pumpkins. And I decided to just put this in the center. I thought he would be cute sitting over by the gnome. And he is. Last but not least, DIY5, one of my favorites. To frame out this chalkboard sign, I'm taking the very long skewers that you can get from the Dollar Tree. They're like 3 feet long and a little thicker. And I'm taking my little mini saw and I'm just trimming these down. Next, I'm taking my antique wax with a wet wipe and putting a little bit on there. And then I just pull that right through it. You could definitely use the smaller wooden dowels like you find at Walmart. It gives you such a nice finish on there. Now I did lose the footage. I also stained a little wood circle that I got from Walmart, and I'm sorry, I lost that footage, but here I am. I'm going to glue this right to that outer edge. And then I also glue the wooden circle on the back side of that pumpkin to give a wood effect. And I just do this all the way around. Do both sides first, then I did the top and the bottom, adhering that circle from the back. Next, I went to my Cricut and I made Hello Fall, and I just added that right on there. You could definitely use stickers or a chalkboard marker. Now I'm making sweaters, pumpkins, etc. with some check boxes. So this is my fall list. So I just use my little squeegee, rub that down, and I'll take that off. I thought about, using one of the chalk markers. Thought that would be really cute writing those out, but those were a lot of words. So I decided to go this route, and then it'll be nice year after year. To make the bow, I have 2 long pieces of green ribbon and 2 shorter pieces of the burlap ribbon. I first make 1 loop and glued it, and now I'm going to make 2 loops with the smaller burlap ribbon right on top of it. I'll take a little piece of twine and just tie those together. This makes it so you can move them around just a little bit before you double knot it on the back. And I'll clip those off. Next, I'll tie the green ribbon around the center, and I fold it over just a little bit. I got the green ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and the skinnier, I believe I found at Walmart. And I just left that a little bit loose, and one of those ends I just clipped off, I took a piece of that twine and ran that through there. Before I pull it tight, I take my tails down, and now I'll just pull that tight. That twine will give me something to tie to the hanger up top. And you just perk up your bow just a little bit so that you can kind of decide what embellishments you might want. I decided that I would take a pumpkin and put that in the middle, but a big pumpkin like this is a little too hefty, so I just took my little X-Acto knife and cut that in half. Now I'll glue the stem on there. And then glue it to the center of the bow. And tie it to that top twine hanger. And it's just as easy as that. Let's take one more look. Thanks again for watching. I'm so happy to have you. Now this is where you go down and go to the playlist and visit these lovely ladies. Here is a couple more videos that you might like if you want to visit those after you do the playlist. Thanks so much. Hit that subscribe.